Well, we'll just start by looking at how to do selections in the two different systems, both the ArcGIS Online, which we've got here. I've just brought in one of that huck map that we had made before when we had selected all the hucks that were touching or within Tennessee. And now we can see if we just click on different things, happens to be a layer about the schools, all we get is information. It doesn't actually select that particular feature. It just gives you information about it with a pop-up. So that's not the same as the selection. That's really what we call an identify tool. So in order to select, we actually need to go over and create a web app that has a select, what they call a widget. So I'm going to go ahead and create an app, a web app builder, and give it a title and just some tags and a summary. And we'll be using this app to show how you can do some different selects and queries in ArcGIS Online. It's just a little trickier because you can't just do it right out of the box with the default options in the classic viewer, which is the one that still has more analysis tools than the new viewer. So we'll just start here by just learning how to do a select. So first, when you bring up the app builder, you have to decide what map you want to have. So I'm going to, the map I just saved, which I will just share with you guys. I won't make you make the map from scratch. But the very first widget I want to add, just so I can have the convenience of turning layers on and off, is what we call you can see here we got 5 placeholders for these different widgets, which are basically a tool. Just to show you some of the widgets that automatically come with it. When you click on one, you can kind of see where they are. There's a scale bar, there's your typical zooming in, zooming out, and then set the extent back to home, and then use your location to kind of, and as you hover over each one of these widgets, you can see how it lights up on the map where the widget is on the map. So that was just the scale bar there. And you can hide these widgets. You can't remove them on this particular template. There are a bunch of different templates, but in this one, you can only just make them invisible. You can't actually remove the widgets, but we can add some other widgets. So I'm picking the select widget, and I'm telling it you can select by point, by a line, by a rectangle, by a circle, by freehand drawing, or by like a freehand polygon. You can click on the help and get more information about how to set up this widget. You can change the selection color and whether you select things that are just within and touching something, or if it has to be wholly within or not the object. And then you can export the selected features. You can turn that on or off. We'll just leave it off for now. And then these are the layers that you can select. I could have maybe not let you select live stream gauges or something, but for now I'm going to just say, yeah, we can be selecting in any one of the layers. So once I've got my web app made, I'm going to save it and then launch it, just to see how this select tool works in ArcGIS Online. And once again, remember, this is not just out of the box ArcGIS Online. You actually have to create this web app. So as you can see here, you can see the legend where you can turn things on and off. And right now, all I've got is that Huck 8 layer open. So you just, can click down and select different ones. Now this is different because you notice now that the whole watershed is in cyan now. So it means it's actually selected. You're not just getting the pop-up identify information about each watershed. You're actually selecting them. So if you were going to do an analysis at this point, it would only do the analysis for those watersheds that are in the cyan color. And you can clear them. And just a reminder that if you are not in the Select tool and you just click on something once again, you're back just in the Identify tool. So going back to the Select tool, you can see you've got different options under Select. You can select by a point. You can select by a rectangle, a polygon, a circle, a line, a lasso. So lots of different choices. This is showing you the lasso where you just hold the left mouse button down and you can just draw anything you want. And it's going to select any watershed within or touching that lasso. And you can select by point, and every time you click you get a new selection until you start using some of your other keys. So if you hold the shift key down you get more than one, and you can just keep on selecting more with holding the shift key down. And then you can start to remove them by hitting the control click. So yeah, it just takes a little practice to kind of get that all figured out as to how to select and deselect them. But this is, as I said, it's not available just in the basic options of ArcGIS Online. The only way to get to this tool is by doing this web app. So just showing you, doing the shift click to add more, and then you can clear them all. So now we're switching over and opening up this map into our GIS Pro. And just so you can see that they got the same select options by rectangle. They don't actually have a point select, which is kind of interesting. You do actually have to just kind of wiggle the mouse a little bit in a feature to get it to select. But once again, you get options with the colors, and you can actually cross-hatch the interior of the features if you want. You can have them where they're touching, or they have to be completely within. I never change these selection methods, but they could come in handy too, depending on what your job is at hand. So I'm going to go in and use the rectangle one, and just kind of like we did in ArcGIS Online, you can just draw rectangles, and anything touching or within the rectangle will be selected. And once again, you can be holding down the control key to add to your selection. But then you can also switch the options, so your control key could be removing from the current selection. Just gives you lots and lots of options if you look up under that toolbar for select in terms of whether you're removing. Now sometimes it looks like you haven't removed one. It's only because their borders are all the same, so they stay highlighted.